Today, I have a very important message about Corona. Basically, I found this post, physics girl, 2 years in bed. She has a thing called long Corona, which is kind of devastating. Apparently, you could lose a lot of your life, your energy. I know what it's like. I can assume what it's like. But anyway, what I want to talk about is I found this book in the Sedona Public Library. I already put this in her comments, and I really hope that it helps her out because this is a very hard to give solution here. But what I'm going to say is this is the comment that I posted right here. I found this book in the Sedona Public Library. I was magically called to it. Like, I knew exactly in the Bible. I mean, not the Bible. In the book, I could see it on the ground. I knew that there was like text halfway in the middle of it that I needed to read like one paragraph before I even like grabbed it. Like full hindsight bias. Anyway, it said in that paragraph 1,000 years ago. I don't know what year it was. Like 1,000 something. It said Jesus predicted that Corona is going to be a virus upon infidels. Now, the reason it's a virus is God and Jesus aren't necessarily like making it. The Holy Spirit's not necessarily making it. The Holy Spirit is still kind of guilty of making it, but it's a virus. And let me tell you why it's a virus, because they don't have this word right here. It means conversion-based punishment. It's in Matthew 25:46. It's for year 100 to year 200 old beans. It's conversion-based punishment. It says that it's eternal conversion-based punishment. Now, once you've converted, you can't have conversion-based punishment anymore because you've converted. So basically, it's like if you're on our land, you're going to follow our rules, or we're going to convert you to following our rules. And yes, you can leave and you won't have conversion-based punishment, but you will have, proximity death. You won't be alive to us. You'll be gone. And infidels means those that don't share our faith, right? I believe Jesus was a super intelligent being, similar to let's say a macro conglomerate of, neural network. We're talking a humongous being at prophet level. Right? Meaning can calculate long-range scalar and predict the energies that we can't stop. He was trying to heal the universe. He's trying to basically beat Earth, the video game, heal everybody. He was beating things that were uncurable in the Bible, diseases that were deemed uncurable, just with them touching his robes, just with him being in proximity of them. And, that's something that I feel like was gifted to me too. Like I have similar capabilities, similar meaning a lot less. I'm not over here like, oh, touch my shoe, it'll heal you from every disease. No, it's not like that. It's like I can calculate disease, like discomfort in other people. I can feel the empathy of them, and I can change the scalar of their body remotely with telepathy. Scalar remote surgeries basically, if they let me. And it's not about me. It doesn't matter. When you're blessed, that you can bless others. I believe if you study the Bible, you can be cured, because Corona is not a percent punishment. Ooh, I messed up right there. It's not a ordained punishment. It was deemed a virus by Jesus. 1,000 years ago. Okay, but anyway, so we got that out of the way. I just can't find this book anywhere. I found it in the library. I opened it. I read it. It was an old book, very old book. Honestly, I think that the Mormons and Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, they might be able to find you this book like better than me. I didn't even memorize the book. I was just so dumb that I didn't even take a picture of the book. I didn't memorize it. I didn't write it down. I didn't do anything. I just read the verse and I was like, that makes sense to me. I agreed with it. It felt real. And then I, brought the book to the front and said, "Hey, this book was found on the ground," and they put it away. And it was a little tiny book. I think it had red reddish cover, soft cover, and it was about almost an inch thick, and maybe about it kind of looked like the Book of Mormon except a little bit smaller. But anyway, looking at this book here, typing in "Did Jesus predict Corona?" It actually doesn't come up. And if you type in "Jesus prophesies Corona," it says he did not specifically in the Bible, but in this book he did. The Bible was written 1,000 years before Jesus and 500 years after Jesus, and it didn't follow into Jesus's multiple lives. And the Book of Mormon does. The Book of Mormon and this book that I found that's similar to the Book of Mormon does follow Jesus into his multiple lifetimes after his lifetime on earth, and talks about his lifetimes possibly even before earth, because he is somebody that had multiple lifetimes before earth. He was a king on birth. And a king is a very, very prestigious, high-ranked thing. You can't, he apparently was a super enlightened being at birth and was able to command. And, that kind of thing deserves respect. People need to understand, Jesus was not born on earth. All right? So this kind of thing you need to understand. In the Bible, too, it says that he prophesizes pestilences, and it says end times. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for first life viruses. We're looking for first life punishments, not first death punishments, which is you assumably year 100 to year 200, because second life or second death punishments is that which separates you from God forever. And after your second death, you can start to become a demon, somebody that's trying to get back into humanity, but into God's kingdom from outside of it, from being permanently banned. Other than that, if you're between first death and second death, if you're trying to access people that are first life still, you can be a minor demon. And that's the thing that I want to warn people about is if you're suffering from Corona, Corona is kind of almost becoming this pre-first death punishment. It doesn't really affect middle-aged people that much. It's kind of rare. Apparently, you would probably have to be in the religious sector, you would have to be a decently extremist infidel, meaning that you might be doing things like destroying people's lives, cheating on others, cheating the system, swapping bodies a lot, and super advanced technology abuse, stuff like that. That kind of stuff would get you in trouble with Corona. You could get hurt by Corona then if you were into those kind of things. And that's just, it's almost on a surreal level where it's everybody kind of thinks that they're ahead of the game or equal with the game, or maybe you think that you're a little bit below the game, but everybody's in the middle, right? Everybody's kind of in the middle, and only when you're comparing to others you're not, right? You can always have infinitely more order, is what I'm trying to say. Is think about it this way: if Jesus was infinitely more, he wouldn't have deemed Corona as a virus. He would have deemed Corona as just a thing, a little battle. A little tiny battle that he graced away. He passively existed Corona out of virus state into non-program. So non-virus state, right? He just turned Corona the virus into Corona the program, and it did our bidding. That's the goal in the first place, right? The goal in the first place would be to take the virus and to turn it into a program with work, right? And I assume that the Holy Spirit did that mostly. We've mostly taken care of that. And I'm not trying to cast judgment onto, physics girl, because she could be framed for her infidelities, right? She could honestly be tricked into them too. Somebody else could say, "You are me," and you could say, "I am you," and then you are now punished for their infidelities because they go into dark matter state relative to the virus. But hopefully, the truth will set you free. Like I said in one of my last videos, one of my favorite words that I just learned: the antidote is in the poison. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. Om Ju Bomber out.